East Coast.
Always on the east or the west?
No, Bill Fitch was on Malacca.
Yes.
Malacca, he was in Malacca, Port Swettenham,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I was over on the other coast.
Yes.
And Dr. Brennan found a rubber planter or a tin miner,
Yes.
and he drew us maps where we could go down rivers and along bush tracks or rubber plantations and miss the bridges that were blown out.
Thank you. I remember being told about that. Like you were using all the secondary roads, and therefore you weren't impeded by the demolitions that were carried out. Yeah.
That's true.
Now, if we can go forward to the night of the 30th of January or 31st of January, when I understand that you was the driver of one of the, in fact, probably the last troops crossing the causeway.
That's correct.
Yeah.
As
Now,
far as Dr. Brennan told me that.
Yes, well, he would be right, and
Yeah.
he'd have no reason to tell any other story.
No.
But you were after the Argylls, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when do you remember who your patients were that were on your ambulance at that time?
No, I don't. Oh,
Not by name, but were they Aussies or were they Brits?
Brits or Indians.
Yeah. Now, when you got across the other side of the causeway, and you caught up with the Argyll and Sutherlands, who claimed to have been the last people across the causeway, but in fact you were after them.
Yeah.
I understand that you met Colonel Stewart, and he did something. What was that?
He presented me with a pair of tartan trews.
Yes.
Service I'd given to them, which I still got.
Well, it'd be nice if we could, at the end, film those trews, because have you ever worn them?
No.
No, they're in as new condition, you might say.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know whether I could find them, Peter. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah. So what was your impression of Colonel Stewart, who was the CO of the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders?
Oh, he's a very respected officer as far as I was concerned.
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
Very straightforward and down to earth, you know.
Now, Gordon, who was the man from your unit that was in the second ambulance that was with you?
Oh, who you were talking to, you know.
Yeah, Gordon Nicol. Yeah. Now I think you said was he a medic, or was he a driver, or was he a bit of both?
Both.
Yes.
There was another bloke called Percy Chapman, but Bill Fitch tells me that was a nickname. His actual name was something else.
Yes.
His surname was definitely Chapman.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So that's the end. Say the 31st of January, and capitulation took place on the 15th of February. What were you doing during that period? I appreciate, as an ambulance involved with the ambulance convoy, you would have been picking up a lot of casualties, but do you know where you were taking them to? Were you delivering them to hospitals, or?
The unit was, but the hospitals came full, and I got orders from Dr. Brennan via our colonel that they were to be delivered to the cathedral.
St Andrew's Cathedral?
Yeah.
Now, were you in St Andrew's Cathedral at any time?
Yes. I was taking some chaps in just at the time, and we heard bombs and shells coming down very, very close.
Yes.
And I said to who was with me, quick, we better get in the cathedral. And we went in the cathedral, and there was a big main door, huge door. I think it was teak or something like that. Well, it was split to smithereens. And we got in and got them inside, and Bill Fitch was down the other end of the cathedral.
Mm.
And, I don't know it. And then I was driving a little Austin utility, and I was taking luggage down to for the nurses to the wharf,
Mm.
and a shell came down behind her and blew the whole back out of the little ute.
Yeah.
And so then that was sort of the end of things for me.
Yeah.
And Des Brennan got the instructions that we would have, about 10 of us I think, were to go in the vaults of the Treasury. And then we stopped down in the Treasury until the end, I think.
Now, can I take you back to St Andrew's Cathedral? Do you remember that the cathedral had all the pews stripped out of it and they were set up with stretchers and all that sort of thing inside? Did you go inside and see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Now, also, can you confirm for me whether they were burying bodies and body parts in the grounds of the cathedral?
no, I can't.
No. Were there tents there for the, say, the medical staff to sleep in around in the grounds of the cathedral?
I believe there were, but I couldn't stop there for long,
No.
Peter, because
Yeah.
they were bombing and shelling
Yes.
continuously, you know, and it was, you know, move about, get into safer places if we could.
Yes.
And the Treasury vault seemed to be the best. you know.
Yes. Okay, so actually John, his doctor on the Burma Thailand Railway was a guy named Roy Mills.
Oh, right.
And did you remember him? Or,
Yeah, well,
by name?
I met him, and
Yeah.
Rowley Richards.
Yeah. Go on.
Rowley Richards, I met him on.
Well, Roy Mills, when he was in the cathedral, a bomb must have come through the roof of the cathedral, and he suffered some shrapnel in his shoulder there. It obviously, because there wasn't a lot of damage done to the cathedral, was there, itself? No. So you get to the. How did you know that the Allies were capitulating?
You're taking me back now.
Yes. I mean, what first information did you get to know that the war at that stage for you was over?
Well, the best I can tell you, Peter, was that the huge bombers, flying fortresses, were flying over Mukden and dropping bombs.
No, I'm sorry, I've taken you too far forward. If we can go back to Singapore, when did you know when the Allies capitulated?
Well, they turned the water off as far as I can remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And, that was the crux of it.
Yeah.
All we had was the restored water, you know.
Yep. Now, Bobby, if we can just go back, Singapore has fallen. Do you remember the move of the Allied troops out to the Changi area?
Yes, most of them were able to walk or march out there, but for some reason, Dr. Brennan got me onto an old truck which was carrying, I don't know what, but I got on this old truck and it took me out to the
Changi.
The Roberts Barracks, I think it was called.
Yeah, well, Roberts Barracks was the main hospital area, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, were you involved in transporting sick and wounded out to that location?
No.
No?
No. I went separately on this truck. My